I'm a big fan of this hat, but whatever. We're going to rock it for that. It's dirty, too. Oh, my goodness. That is dirty. She needs a lint roll. Oh, my goodness. How bad is this one? Let's take a look at that one. That's less dirty. We'll go with that one then. Oh, no. Welcome in, everybody. Because I just got done running around a tennis court for the last hour and a half, and my hair is just wild right now, dude. You see how wild my freaking hair is? It's a freaking whole mess over here, dude. I didn't even brush it. I didn't even brush it. I look wild as hell over here. Y'all are tripping. My hair looks crazy. My hair looks wild right now. All right, whatever. I'll leave it off for a bit. We'll see. We'll see how comfortable I feel. We'll see how comfortable I feel with me not even brushing my hair before I got on. Ugh. Since y'all are saying you love the hair, I'll let the Rupert, you tell me if they were lying to me, right? You would tell me, right? Rupert's like, no. Rupert's like, hell no, I wouldn't tell him. All right, y'all. Again, sorry I'm late. Sorry, not sorry I'm late. Contrary to what MAGA tells you, I do have a life that is not online. And sometimes that life has me doing other things that are not this. So Wednesdays are always my late day. I'm always having to get on a little bit later on Wednesdays. And today's no different. Today's a little later. But I'm trying to get on by 7:30 on Wednesdays, but there's no promises. Apparently no. Apparently, according to MAGA, because I know more than them, I don't have a life. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, according to them, because I don't, because I just know more, because I actually research this stuff, that apparently I just sit here and do this all day. That's what they tell me all the time. It's because you sit here and do this all day. I'm like, man, I wish y'all could see my schedule, because sure as hell isn't that. All right, y'all. As you guys are coming in, please double tap that screen if you're on TikTok. Hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are on YouTube. If you aren't already subscribed, I assume that most people that are coming in right at the beginning already subscribe. Your hats complement your shirts. Normally they do. I don't have a good hat for this jacket. And I have been convinced by a few people in my TikTok chat to just not wear a hat today, even though I didn't brush my hair. So I guess y'all are just getting down and dirty Polly today. I guess that's what we're going to do. So hopefully I don't look too much a mess. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Come on in. Enjoy yourself. Get comfortable. Get comfortable. There's lots to talk about. Okay? Get comfortable. There's lots to talk about today, as always. I've seen worse. Veronica, you've been with me a long time. So I don't have a hat? Yeah, I have one right here. Thank you. Took a while, sorry. Oh, I'm not even going to use it for another hour and a half. So, but thank you. Yeah, I have a hat right here. But I'm all about giving the people what they want. Okay? If y'all are over here saying you guys want it without the hat today, then guess what? That's what you're going to get. I'm a man of the people. All right? I'm a man of the people. I have very many times described related what I do to being a stripper. So not really surprising you guys would want me to take it off. You know what I'm saying? not surprising. All right. Not surprising in the slightest. I want you to wear a Trump cap. Why would I do that? I don't support Chinese products, so I wouldn't wear a Trump cap. See what I did there? See what I did there? See what I did there? Gotti. All right, y'all, come on in. We're going to open up these phone lines real soon. Get this thing going. As you guys are coming in, like I said, please, if you're on TikTok, double tap that screen. If you guys are on YouTube, hit that like button. I really appreciate you guys. If you support Trump, we're going to open up these phone lines in this multi-guest request button box very soon. And we're going to have some conversations, some debates, some banter. We have all of the above, as always. All of the above, as always. And as normal on Wednesdays, I will stay online as long as I feel you guys are in it with me. That's how I do on Wednesdays, because I'm always on late. So as long as you guys are in it with me, I'm going to be there. Like, I'm going to be there with you. See? I told you, stripper. See? He's literally throwing, I would say, dollar bills at me, those euros. He's literally tossing coins at me. Like, take it off. It's not even coins, it's a euro, so it's one coin. They just have two euro coins. It's just one. Like, they're just flicking it at me. Like, thank you so much, Alis. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. One coin. Just get out of here. Love you guys. All right. As I said, as you guys are coming in, we're just getting this thing started. So we're going to be getting into some debates, some banter, some conversation very, very soon. Yeah, making it hail over here. Just freaking pelting me. All right. And if they're making it hail, I wouldn't even, we'd have no way of knowing because, not like the NOAA is going to tell us thanks to Trump. And on top of that, I probably won't get any compensation because FEMA will be gone. So, you know what? And let me talk about one thing before I open up these phone lines. Okay? Before we open up the phone lines to talk to some people on the other side, because again, that's what this is about. This is not about me sitting in my little echo chamber. This is about talking to people talking with people that disagree with me, because that's how we solve things in the United States, and that's how we get to a better spot. We don't get there by sitting in echo chambers. Okay? I am going to say this. We consistently have talked about how Trump's policies disproportionately affect, like the lowest poverty levels in this country. Okay. Which is really bad. But I did think of one that is just like really horrible. That's going to affect all like middle class people, like really bad. And the reason why I thought of it is because it's going to affect me. I live in Florida. And because of where I live, I need flood insurance. And all of my flood insurance is backed by FEMA. Just like everyone else's flood insurance, because you can't get it otherwise because it's too expensive. People don't want to insure it. So the federal government insures it through FEMA. And I was thinking about that today, and I was just like, wow, like that actually like directly affects me if he gets rid of FEMA, which he is still talking about. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. By the way, Trump supporters, have you guys heard how much money those people in Texas are getting on their initial payment? I'm going to give you a hint. It's $750 if he doesn't get rid of FEMA already. It's still $750. The same thing you complained about with Biden. Because that's how much they're going to get. That's if there's FEMA funding. That's if he doesn't cancel FEMA before then. So, you're on government support? Yeah, everyone's on government support in one way or another. Dingus, pay attention. All right, phone lines are open. Let's get into some conversations. And we're going to get this thing going. Everybody's on some type of government support. You just don't realize it half the time. You guys just don't realize it half the time. That's all it is. I'm smart enough to realize where the government supports me and you're not. That's the only difference. Who are you? Let's start this thing out. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I have a situation. So, I don't know if you know Chile.
Do I know Chile like the country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here in Chile, there's a president like Trump, like a president, a candidate for president like Trump. And I have a situation because the proposals he has are pretty similar to Trump. And I have a lot of debates, and I don't know how to debate them. I don't know if you get me.
I don't know how to debate him either because I'm not familiar enough with Chilean politics.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that a lot of times they use like the Bible to get against like LGBTQ plus community.
Was I on the phone with someone?
I don't really
Oh shit! I think someone was on the phone. I didn't even realize it. They should have said something. Anyways, sorry. They use the Bible for what?
Yeah, the Bible to go against LGBTQ plus community or against poor people or against immigrants. Because in Chile we get a lot of Venezuelan immigrants.
So what's your question, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't know how to get against the politics they want to. I don't know the words exactly in Chile against immigrants because they said no, they're getting our jobs and things like that. And I think it's pretty similar to what people in the United States said.
Yeah. So as far as when you talk about using religion against aliens or against immigrants, the Bible is very clear about how you're supposed to treat immigrants, and you're supposed to treat them like one of your own, and you're supposed to accept them in. The Bible is very clear about that. It also talks about loving everyone, about loving your neighbor, about not judging other people and where they come from. The Bible could not be more clear on their stance on its stance on immigration. Okay. People will use religion for whatever they want to try to justify harming other people, and Christianity has done that for the longest time, right? Slavery was justified under Christianity. The Holocaust was justified under Christianity, right? All of these horrific things the Crusades were justified under Christianity, right? And so there's tons of things that people use Christianity for. To justify, even though they shouldn't. I think the best way to handle people like that is I always just refer them back to their Bible and just make them explain how they're treating people a certain way according to their own Bible. And normally you'll see them start to question whether, like, if they believe what they believe, if they truly believe the religion that they believe. And if they're just using it to be obtuse, then it doesn't matter what you say to them. So it doesn't matter. But thank you so much for coming up. I do appreciate you. I am going to move on because I am starting this thing out and I want to get some Trump supporters in here. But I appreciate you coming up and good luck, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good one. All right, now we're gonna reopen these phone lines, keep this thing going. She's sweet. Sorry, I don't know enough about Chilean politics to really get a, to really get super into it. I don't know who that guy. I guess I had answered the phone on somebody, and then I didn't realize it. Hello, how are you? Goodbye. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm 19.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I would say I do. Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
Over the other candidate, I guess.
Well, there is no other candidate. Donald Trump is the president. Are you supporting what he's doing or not?
I mean, in the last election.
We're not talking about the last election. We're talking about right now. Do you support Donald Trump right now?
Yes, I would say I do.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, I just think I like that he puts America first, pretty much.
How is he putting America first right now?
Well, I just think his stances on like immigration and foreign policy kind of put the American people first.
How?
Well, he's getting illegal immigrants out of the country.
He's doing it worse than Biden did, because again, Biden deported 685,000 undocumented migrants last year, and Donald Trump isn't even close to half of that halfway through the year.
I thought we weren't talking about Biden, though.
We're not, but if you're saying you support Donald Trump for getting undocumented people out of the country, he's worse at it than every other president in recent history.
I would say I don't think he would have been worse than the other candidate, though. Or I think, he's doing a better job than the other candidate would have.
Sir, he's doing worse than Biden. He's doing worse than Obama at any point in time. Okay. He's not even doing as good as himself in his first term, which was still worse than Biden and Obama. Okay. So like if you're saying that America first, that removing undocumented migrants is America first, then Donald Trump is literally the least America first president, because he's doing it like worse than everyone else is.
Okay, so is there, I'm not saying you're wrong. I believe you. Is there like numbers for this that I could look up?
I literally just gave you one. In 2024, Joe Biden deported 685,000 undocumented migrants, and so far Donald Trump is at like, I think it was 200 and something over halfway through the year this year.
Okay, but is there somewhere I could like find this information?
Yeah, cbp.gov, but also Council for Immigration Studies has it. Pew Research Center, I believe, has a pretty good one on tracking it.
Okay, so I'll concede that, because I don't know about the numbers, I guess, but I had assumed from what he was saying that he was doing more. But another thing I would also support him on is probably like abortion.
Yeah, so I will completely agree with you that if you just listen to what Donald Trump says, of course he's America first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it him actually America first, right? That just makes him.
I haven't looked in enough. I mean,
yeah.
Just from what I hear,
let's talk just a quick overview on abortion. Okay, Donald Trump input Supreme Court justice to overturn Roe versus Wade. The overturning of Roe versus Wade, which is considered the Dobbs decision, was polled by multiple, like so many polls, right? Like right wing, left wing, center, and 2/3 of Americans did not support the overturning of Roe versus Wade. So how is it America first for him to do something that's against 2/3 of Americans?
Well, I wouldn't say this issue is, because I would say that 50%, roughly, probably, of the population in America is against abortion.
They might be personally against abortion, but just because you're personally against something doesn't make you against it for everybody else. 2/3 of Americans supported the rights of Roe v. Wade that allowed people to make decisions on their own. Okay, that would have been the America first answer, because that is what the populism of America wants. If 2/3 of America want something and you go against it, that's the opposite of being
So how
America
did it get
first.
overturned if most people would be in favor of the opposite?
Because it wasn't an election that got it overturned. Donald Trump put in people that were going to do it, and then they just decided to do it against freaking half a century worth of precedent. Okay, but there wasn't an election.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. It was
There wasn't
overturned, and the multitude of people in the United States didn't want it overturned. Just like there's lots of things Donald Trump does that the multitude of people don't agree with in the United States, which is why he's not America first.
Okay, so I would agree that in that instance he was okay. I would agree that that is not America first, but morally I do agree that his stance on abortion is correct.
Sure, what is his stance on abortion? He's changed it 8 different times, but just last year. Like literally throughout his entire political, life, like ever since he ran for president in 2020, or sorry, in 2000, when he first ran, and even back into the 80s and 90s when he was first talking about running for office or running to be a politician, he was incredibly pro-choice. And it wasn't until just recently he came out and said that he wasn't pro-choice. Right? His wife came out and specifically said that she is pro-choice, making me think that the things that Donald Trump said prior were also pro-choice, right? Because obviously would be kind of strange for her to just come out and say that type of stuff. And then even with his supposed like pro-forced birth stances, he changes on them consistently. First it was at conception, then it was at 6 weeks, then it was at 8 weeks. He's talked about it being at 20 weeks. He's talked about all sorts of different timelines in there in which he believes abortion is right or wrong, and flip-flops on it regardless. So I don't really know what his stance on is, besides he likes that you vote for him because of it.
So what is his current? So you don't know what his current stance is on it?
I don't know. He doesn't know. Melania doesn't know. I don't think anybody knows.
Okay, I would say I was under the impression that the administration overall, the Trump administration, was against it.
Sure, I don't have a crystal ball to look into what has happened in places that I haven't been. Okay. But if I could pretend that I could, right? If I could pretend that I could just see everything that's ever happened ever, right? Like I had some crystal ball that could show me, right?
Okay.
I would put every dollar that I've ever made on Donald Trump paying for over 5 abortions with odds. I would
agree with you. I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay. When I say like I support Trump, I guess I don't support him as a person necessarily. I agree he maybe does, but the administration is kind of why I support him, because I think he's kind of a tool at times.
Oh, he's a tool all the time.
That's fair. But the people that are, really making the decisions behind him, that's kind of just because I would say that the Trump administration is against it.
Yeah, the people behind him that are supreme racists who wanted to bring back stop and frisk, so incredibly racist policies, who have been freaking very outspoken about their xenophobia and their hate for immigrants in all sorts of different ways, right? People that have long histories of sexual assault against women, people that, that all sorts of stuff, white nationalists, Christian nationalists, white Christian nationalists, freaking people that believe in replacement theory, people that literally believe like the worst stuff in the world, like the Heritage Foundation. Those are the people that's backing him, and you support those horrible fucking people because of something that you can't even have.
Well,
see, here's the thing.
I don't support the opinions.
Sir, here's the cool thing about your morals. Okay? The really awesome thing about your morals. In this country, unless it's broadly decided by, like a multitude of people and really affects civilization and society, i.e. murder, robbery, something like that, right? You're allowed to have your morals on all sorts of stuff, right? Like truly, right? Like I'll give you an example, right? I don't believe that it's morally right to cheat on your partner.
I would agree.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that I believe that it should be illegal or that other people shouldn't be able to do it. That's their morals and their stance that they make, right? And so even though you and I can even right here agree, and I think, honestly, I think that there was a large majority of people who would also probably believe the same thing, right? But does that mean because we agree with it, we should make it illegal and ban other people from doing it, and and risk the lives of other people, in these situations in order to because our morals agree on it?
I think cheating on your partner is a little different than abortion in terms of like, because it's affecting.
Yes, I think it's much
another
worse.
human.
I think cheating on your partner is much worse.
Well, okay, we can disagree on that, but I think
right, we can disagree, but regardless of whether we disagree on or not, neither of them should be jailable offenses. I am allowed very easily to just have my opinion and my morals on that stance, and I can keep them to myself, and I can abide by them. Okay, because they're mine, right? Because they're my moral stance. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't agree with you, right? But those are your morals versus my morals, and that's fine. But neither of them should be illegal.
But I think it's a little different when it comes to abortion because you're kind of infringing on another person.
No, you're not. That's just your feelings and your morals that you're trying to push on somebody else, right? You think that because there's some DNA someplace that somehow you're advocating for another person, but you're not. You're really advocating for the lack of healthcare for women. You're advocating for women to be be kept alive on machines even though they're brain dead so they can give birth, or to die on tables like Amber Thurman from having ectopic pregnancies. That's really what you're advocating for. You're advocating for the death of a whole bunch of women and the freaking safety of a whole bunch of women. You're arguing against that. You're arguing against their medical care. That's what you're arguing against, right? Because I can prove to you that every single one of those women is a human being that has rights and deserves to live. But you cannot prove to me that a fetus at any certain level is a human being according to any ideology or to science.
Well, hold on. I don't think that a woman should die over. I think the woman's life is just as important.
But women are dying because of your moral stance, and I put that in parentheses.
Okay, but I don't like that the women are dying, and I would rather the women dying thing is kind of a separate, not separate, but it's a very small percentage of the abortion cases.
Sir, if it's one case, that's too many.
I agree, but
so I don't give a shit how small of a percentage it is. If it's one case, it's too many. And I can name you like 5 off the top of my head.
But there are probably millions of cases where it's used as a form of birth control, and just because it's convenient for the woman.
Oh, gotcha. So, sure. How much is birth control?
How much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of birth control?
The pill, your standard birth control.
I'd probably guess $100, maybe.
About 20 to 40. If you don't have good enough insurance, then it's free. And if you go to the correct clinics, like things like Donald Trump is trying to defund, like Planned Parenthood, you can also get it for free because they have specific subsidies in there that are paid for to make sure people have birth control. How much is the day after pill?
Probably more expensive.
Yeah, about $80, I believe. I haven't had to buy one in a long time, so I don't know, but it's under $100. So you're telling me that women are not taking birth control, which is again $20-$40 at most, $0 at least, right? And they're throwing that away. Then they're taking the day after pill, which they could easily get for under $100. Take that, throw it away, and then they're going to get abortions for $500. That require for them to be out of work, right? Sometimes having to travel to different states. And they're doing all of that out of convenience?
You think that so a woman takes the pill and still gets pregnant, right?
Sir, you just said that women were getting abortions out of convenience, like they were getting a punch card at Baskin Robbins.
like
Okay,
because
please explain to
it would
me
be
how
more
there
convenient
are
for the woman.
100 different ways that are more convenient, but women are choosing the most inconvenient way, the one that's the most stress on their bodies, the one that takes them out for the longest, the one that can be the most painful, the one that takes longer, all of those things. Please explain to me how the one that is the most difficult on women and the most expensive is somehow the one they're using out of convenience.
Well, if they don't know about it a couple days in, then they would have to get the abortion.
Sir, if they have
maybe
to get one, that is one thing. You said they're using it as a form of birth control and out of convenience. That is what you said. So either A, you're telling me that that women are skipping all of the most convenient options in order to have the most difficult option out of convenience. So what you're really telling me is that women are morons. Right? Is that women are too stupid. I don't even know how they tie their shoes in the morning because they have all of these much easier options to make sure that they don't get pregnant. We haven't even talked about things like condoms and everything else, right? They have all of these easier options and they're choosing the most difficult way out of convenience. And I would really like you to explain that to me.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of them who probably get the pill before, but there's probably a lot of them also who maybe don't realize they're pregnant for the first, I don't know, couple weeks, and then they can't get that. So then they say, okay, well, now I might just get an abortion.
Did you know that over 80% of women
do
you know that over 80% of women that get abortions already have children?
I wouldn't say that makes it right.
No, I'm just saying, apparently these women know nothing about their bodies, and apparently they just hate children if that's the case, right? So I'm just wondering if you know.
Okay, so what would you say is, why are most abortions happening in America?
Oh, it's the number one reason why most abortions happen in America. You want to know why? You know what the reason is?
Yeah.
It's this cool reason called none of my fucking business. Okay, because that is a medical decision that happens between a woman and her doctor. Okay. So because of that, the number one reason why they get abortions is none of my fucking business. Okay. Because I don't think that they're getting involved in any medical decisions that I'm making or what should happen with my body during, or my, sexual reproductive organs and deciding what can and cannot happen. So.
Okay. First off, I would like to clarify. I'm definitely willing to have my mind changed on this. I'm just having a discussion. So, the difference between what's happening to them and if I went through a medical procedure is it involves another human life. I believe it involves another human life.
If you believe that, then you don't have to have an abortion. I don't believe that.
That's like saying you don't think that someone should kill someone because
no,
you're not involved.
If they're doing that to another human being, that is another human life, and that is literally the definition of what a human life is. And since that's bad for society and bad for us civilly and culturally, and also on top of that, it's against my morals, people shouldn't do that. But again, you're talking about the difference of a human being, someone who has rights according to the Constitution, who even has rights according to your Bible. If you're a religious person, someone that actually has rights according to all of those things, and a fetus, which is literally, up to a certain point, really just a clump of cells. And so I don't really give a shit about it whatsoever. But again, if you do, that's fine. You don't have to have an abortion.
So I think that's just something we can't agree on, because I would say that it starts at a human life would start at conception.
No, it does, sir. I can sit here and show you that you don't believe that. You know what? Fine, I will. Since you sound like you actually want to learn, please tell me how a human life starts at conception.
Because God put that baby there.
Because God put that baby there. Okay, easy. I don't believe in God. That's easy. Okay, so therefore, no longer is it a freaking human being. That's pretty simple. Since I don't believe in God, then God couldn't have put it there because I don't believe in God. And since there should be no law that has to do with religion on our books in the United States, according to the Constitution, then we should also not make laws based off religion. So therefore, God put it there should be the exact reason why we should not have laws against abortion. That sounds easy enough.
Okay, that's fair enough. I would say, okay, that's fair enough. I would say that they shouldn't, but I would not vote for a law that would prevent them from doing that.
That's fine, sir. You could just leave it at I would not do a law. Because you honestly have no idea what my stance on abortion is. I can have whatever stance on abortion. It doesn't matter. My personal
I'm saying
I'm just explaining to you, sir,
agree.
that you're arguing your position on abortion versus my lack of position. Okay? I cannot have an abortion. Okay? I can't have one. I don't know all of the certain things, even though I know a lot more than I would say probably your average heterosexual male knows about women's bodies, which is crazy. And that's not like a humble brag. That's just I talk about abortion so much that I've just learned through attrition. That's all it is. Like I can never have one, so just let women make their own decision on that stuff, dude. Because there's a lot of science and there's a lot of Like, can you tell me what an ectopic pregnancy is?
No, I think I'm agreeing.
You're fine. I'm just saying. Can you tell me what an ectopic pregnancy is?
No, I cannot.
Okay. And so like, and this is not me even like pushing down you, because before I started doing this, I didn't know what an ectopic pregnancy was either. Right. Like I had to learn through attrition, because it's not something that guys like, we talk about or know about or anything like that. Like just generally. Yeah. Right. And, but these are the type of things, right, where there's like an implantation outside of the uterus, right, which creates a non-viable fetus. When we have those type of situations, those are some of the reasons that people are dying. Right. And that's why it is so important that medical decisions are left up to doctors. Right. And not some guy, like you or I, making the decision that doesn't have a medical degree and doesn't know anything about a woman's body. That's why it's so important, because we don't know all the situations that happen like during pregnancy, and most of us probably will never know. You know what I'm saying? So like it's just best left out of our hands. So just don't legislate it, and just let people trust that women are making the best decisions that they should for their bodies and their livelihoods and their children, and we can stay out of it, and let them make that with their partners and their doctors and their family, their moms, whatever. They can have those conversations with the people that they trust.
Yep. So I would say, while I do think that the human life is there, I would not prevent them from getting an abortion. Any woman.
Sounds good to me, man.
I would not put a law in place or vote for one.
Sounds good to me, man.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man.
Hmm?
Thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely, man. You have a good one, all right?
You too. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm cool with that. You can really, truly, in my opinion, you can believe whatever you want about abortion. It does not bother me at all. Just don't try to legislate other people. Sounds good to me. But hey, he was for an abortion argument that I have on this app. That is probably the best possible case scenario. Okay. I've probably had 1,000 abortion debates on this app or on these apps for a long time. And that is by far the the best one that's ended up and actually kind of calm. So that was actually kind of cool. Jonathan, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said, don't you get tired of repeating yourself? Sometimes. If you'll notice too, if you hear me say an argument too many times, I'll start switching up the way that I argue things or the way that I converse about things. Like there was a couple switch ups in that one that just kind of helped me to keep my brain intrigued. You know what I'm saying? So I switch it up a little bit. I try to keep the arguments fresh, just to have some fun with it. But thank you so much, Jonathan. And again, Jonathan, this is exhausting, Polly. Well, if you're exhausted, how do you think I feel? If you're exhausted, how do you think I feel doing this 3 hours a day? Okay, so 2-3 hours a day. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going. We're gonna move on to the next caller. Y'all, if you guys are on the YouTube side, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you're new here. We do this every single day, so I really appreciate you. If you're on the TikTok side, also hit that follow button. If you're on YouTube and you'd like to support, I do have super chats open. Like you're seeing up here, I put them on the screen. We talk about them. So if you'd like to support, that's a great way to do it. We have a lot of fun with those. If you're on the TikTok side, I do have the alien little gifts, and I'm still trying to catch Ari on these damn subs. So if you'd like to support, help me catch Ari. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
And you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Why
I
is
just
that?
I have a cool question. I've been hearing you, and you said that you don't believe in God and stuff, but you believe in Satan, correct?
No, of course not.
Or, I mean, you say "Hail Satan" on your stream.
Yeah, because it makes religious people like so angry.
Oh, okay, I understand. So I was gonna say, if you believe in that, then how the hell you don't believe in the other?
No.
But yeah, that's what I pretty much mainly was calling for.
Nope, don't believe in God. Don't believe in Satan.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Here's a fun. You want to know a fun fact?
Hmm.
The Church of Satan doesn't believe in Satan.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
They do
you
not.
Ever looked,
Yeah.
have you ever have you ever looked into NDE on like near-death experience?
No, not really. I didn't really want to get into a huge conversation about this, but I was just letting you know.
You should. It's really good.
I'm sure it is, man.
Eventually, when you get time.
All right, maybe I will. Why not? We'll check that out. All right, man. Have a good one. All right, move on to the next caller. You spelled Obama wrong. Why do you support Obama? That'd be really weird. He hasn't been president for a long time. Hello, how are you?
What's up?
Satanic Temple. Sorry, not the Church of Satan. It's the Satanic Temple. My bad. I screwed that up. I should know better. I've literally interviewed someone of the Satanic Temple and I still screwed it up. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's on me. Sorry, someone corrected me. That's on me. Not the Church of Satan. I don't know what the Church of Satan actually believes in. They actually might believe in Satan. I'm not sure. All right. Hello. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, honestly, I really wanted him to be strong on the border, strong on foreign policy, and really be America first. But I have seen some things that are saying that part of that is not true, right? With Israel and
literally none of that is true.
Like, well, you know what? What I voted for was mass deportations, and what I voted for was small government and not increasing the deficit and not getting involved in foreign wars.
Well, none of that's happening either.
Yeah.
So the question is, if none of the things you voted for Trump on, you still support, then why do you support him?
Only because he's the lesser of two evils. I mean,
sir. There is no other evil. He's the president. I'm just asking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not asking why you support Trump in comparison to anyone else. If everything you voted for with Trump, he is not doing, then why do you currently support him?
I support some of the stuff he's doing, and I support that he's at least trying. So I only have to hope that he's gonna do the right thing at the end of the day. I mean, and here's how I feel is that I feel a lot safer about the next 4 years than I would have if the election had gone a different way. So I think I take that as a bonus. I don't think that we're draining the swamp per se as much as.
Why would you possibly feel safer?
Files and everything, but
why would you possibly feel safer?
Well, I think we have a strong leader. I mean, you saw I don't know if you've seen, but there's a leaked audio of Trump saying, Trump warned Vladimir Putin that if he invades Ukraine, Trump's going to bomb the shit out of Moscow. And Putin was like, I don't believe you. Trump's like, try me. Like, I have to do that, right? And same thing.
Sorry,
with
where's
Xi
that
Jinping.
audio? I would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's a leaked audio.
Yeah, I'd love
It's
to.
actually
Where
came
can I
out-
find that? I would love to hear that.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I'm
for
sorry.
you.
Where did
Yeah,
you hear that at?
Yeah. Here, I have it right here.
No, where is it from?
It's a 2024 Trump fundraiser audio.
Yeah, where are you hearing the audio from?
The source is how Trump retook the White House and the Democrats lost 2024.
Yeah, on what site?
It is on X.
It is on X. So I was about to ask you, is this some social media post?
Yeah, but it is leaked audio, and he also said, I mean, so this is Trump talking.
No,
right? He's just
I'm good.
saying
Thank
what
you.
he said to these leaders.
No, I'm good.
But,
Thank you.
It's the same thing with that. We have to.
Well, guess what? You know what? I heard leaked audio
Straight.
saying that if Kamala Harris had gotten elected, she told Putin that if he didn't stop the war with Ukraine, she was going to use his children as puppets, and then she was going to put their heads on stakes like Vlad the Impaler. There's some leaked audio from it. I saw it on X. It must be true.
No, it is real audio.
Yeah, I saw it. Mine is too. I saw it on X. It must be true.
But it is peace through strength. You got to realize that.
That's exactly what I'm saying about Kamala Harris. It was real strong. That Vlad the Impaler stuff, Putin was terrified of it. Yeah, it was really scary.
We just can't be woke pussies at the end of the day. We're the fucking United States of America. And
you're sitting here simping over freaking fake leaked audio on X and glazing over some orange guy who's not even doing who's not even doing the things that you wanted him to do, as you sit here and simp over him. But that's okay. Let's not be weak, guys. Let's not be weak, guys. Let's not be weak as he sits here and glazes a Cheeto.
Trump isn't doing enough deportations. I don't like the fact that he's allowing hotel workers, farm workers to stay. Every illegal should be deported, and it would help the economy massively. It would help with housing. It would help with cost of living. It would help our economy. I mean, it's just like, and I just don't like that he's...
First of all, it would help none of those things. Second of all, what you're asking for is impossible. So
I don't know. I think you should listen to more Nick Fuentes.
Yes, I will. If I ever want to listen to a sexist, racist piece of shit, I will definitely listen to more Nick Fuentes.
He's neither of those, right? You probably say the same thing about Trump, which is crazy.
No, actually, Nick Fuentes is so bad he makes Trump look like a good person, and that's really bad. Because Trump sexually assaults people, and somehow Nick Fuentes is actually worse than him, which is crazy. Dude's like a literal Nazi. So, yeah. But anyways, and since I can tell I'm not going to get anything of actual intelligence out of this conversation.
Are you Israel first? I mean, that's what I'm confused about. Are you Israel first?
Yeah, I'm not talking to you, okay?
Okay, you must.
All right. Wow. Yeah, not doing that. Revolutionary Socialist, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. I really appreciate that. Commander Trigger, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that also. Thank you so much. All right, phone lines are back open. Really appreciate you guys.
I'm not talking to you, okay?
Hello?
Okay.
Hello. Is this Politics?
Yeah, how old are you?
Hey, bud, 37.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to need you to turn off my live in the background because I can just hear it.
No, bro. I just turned it off.
All right, awesome. So why do you support Trump?
Okay, so a couple reasons. First, the dude is an actual leader. Say what you will about him. The shit that comes out of his mouth, kind of crazy, but he's an actual leader. That's the thing. Reason number two, you cannot tell me that a woman who can't even put a sentence together is going to command any type of respect on the world stage. Number three, you cannot tell me that transgenderism in children is good for our society.
Awesome.
And number
few
4,
things in there.
you-
You have more
Ho-
bullshit.
Hold on. I have
Okay.
I just have 4 points, bud, and that's it. Like, I'm telling you my
Just get with the
thoughts
fourth
about
one,
this.
dude. Let's go.
So number 4, you also cannot tell me that murdering children, also known as abortion, with absolute impunity, is good for society.
Yeah. Awesome. First of all, Donald Trump is not a leader. That's how he pretty much destroyed the country during COVID, which is his inability to lead. Okay. He is not a strong leader. I'm talking. I let you get your points out. Now it's your turn to be quiet.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. No, he does not command any type of respect on the world stage. There's literal videos of world leaders literally laughing on him. He got laughed off the UN stage. Whatever happened? I'm really curious about that 90 deals in 90 days. I guess he was such a strong leader that he was supposed to get 90 deals in 90 days, and all of these countries were coming to the table to make sure that they got deals. And then he got none done. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 that freaking didn't help America at all. My bad. I couldn't remember on that. Third of all, transgenderism doesn't exist. That's not a thing. It's not a fucking disease. So you don't even know enough about it to speak about it. And fourth of all, I'm still talking.
Of course it exists, dude. Of course
Okay,
it exists.
awesome. If you
see
can't
it
let me finish my
everywhere.
sentence, then I'll just move on to someone else. I already think you're too dumb to talk to me. So please don't push the button.
Go for it.
Thank you. Okay. And fourth of all, okay, you literally said children. I don't believe that murdering children is good either. That good thing fetuses aren't considered children according to any definition whatsoever, and especially medically. So therefore, you're right. I completely agree that killing children is not a good thing. That's why we have laws against that across all boards. I think pretty much every society in the world has freaking laws against that. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, calling Donald Trump, I'm again still talking.
All right, well, hurry up because I need to ask you some questions.
Okay.
So make
I can just
point,
hang
bud.
up on you if I'm taking too long for you.
You are.
Okay, well, bye then. That was easy. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 58.
Awesome. Do you support
Even though
Trump?
I don't sound like it. Yeah, hello?
Hi, do you support Trump?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
But
Hey, sorry, man. I'm only looking for
I
Trump
have-
supporters right now. But I do
I
appreciate
have plenty of reasons not to support him.
Yeah, we all do, man.
Well, I could give you some arguments about what these guys are trying to tell you.
I got plenty though, man. I appreciate you though. Thank you. I got arguments for days. I do appreciate that though. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I was listening to the show and I was intrigued to get on.
Awesome. How old are you?
26.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Great. Why do you support Trump?
Many reasons. I'd love to talk about it on the show.
You're on the show right now. Why do you support him?
Well, I mean, he's a good guy. What's so bad about him? I don't know.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's decent.
He literally is an adjudicated freaking sexual assaulter. He's been freaking found civilly liable for defrauding a children's cancer charity. He literally bragged about going into back rooms and seeing underage girls naked. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, for fucking God's sakes. What part of this dude is a good guy?
I mean, I can name like 4 things,
You're going to name things that make him a good guy over what I just said?
Well, I mean, I don't think any of the things you said are bad, first of all.
You don't
So,
think him
start with that.
sexually assaulting women is a bad thing?
I can name worse. Can't you?
I didn't ask you that. I said, do you think that that's a bad thing?
No, you see, you got me with that one. And now I'm starstruck because, yeah, that might be a bad thing. But guess
You don't
what?
think that defrauding a children's cancer charity is bad?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Awesome. You don't believe that freaking sneaking into dressing rooms to watch underage girls naked is a bad thing?
Underage, yeah. Now,
Awesome.
not
Well, all those are all the things I just said were bad, and you just said you didn't feel those things were bad. So
yeah, well, yeah, you maybe got me here. Well, you know what? Actually, yeah. kind of switch my ideas on this now. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. You gave me a lot to think about. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, take some time and
Awesome.
think about that, okay? Jim, thank you so much for the Cash App. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. We're going to move on to the next caller. These callers are getting weirder and weirder. Again, y'all, if you guys like support... Oh, I forgot my super chat. I do have super chats open. I really appreciate it. Commander Trigger, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, how do you feel about Trump ignoring the Constitution, Trump supporters? He's not putting the illegal immigrants through due process at all. He's not putting anyone through due process. That's the unfortunate part. But thank you so much. I'm going to leave that up for a second. Tom Spurs can answer that later. Thank you so much for the support. Hi, welcome to the live. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Yourself?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
36.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do. I'm conflicted, but I am. At the end of the day, I do support him. And one of the biggest things.
Oh, hold on, real quick before you move on, y'all. If you guys are in here on the YouTube side, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We do this every day, but Thursdays. Tomorrow's my day off, so we do this every day. So I really appreciate you. Make sure you hit that follow button if you're over there on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. All right, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, like I was saying. So one of the biggest things I hear liberals, point out about Trump and speak negatively about him is how he handled the COVID situation, right? From the very beginning. And then you yourself just said here a few minutes ago that makes him, or that doesn't qualify him for, being a great leader.
Well, he just didn't lead. He literally in the time when the country was in crisis, which is the specific time when you expect that a president is going to lead the country. He just didn't say anything and pretty much left states up to their own to make decisions on their own. That's why you had states like, that were, on one end of the spectrum that were just locking down completely and not allowing anything. And Florida, who I'm pretty sure even to this day doesn't know that COVID ever existed. So that's why you had that whole spectrum because of a lack of leadership.
Right. No, and I can see a bit of that in certain situations, but for you to kind of generalize, here's the thing, he spoke out on it quite a bit. What happened, I mean, there was everything he said, right, from the very beginning, when he said that it came out from China, he was called a racist in the very beginning, right? So, and there's...
No, hold on. That is not why he was called a racist.
Oh, yeah.
No, he didn't come out and say that it came from China. What did he call it?
Yeah, the China virus.
Okay. Just making sure we don't get that misconstrued.
No, I mean, well, here's the thing, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it did come out of China. I mean, we're not going to argue that. Correct?
Sir, whatever he said where it came from does not change the fact that he couldn't lead his way out of a paper bag. I don't understand why you being up here being like, oh, he said it came from China, so therefore he's a good leader.
Well,
like that's just saying something. Like I don't.
Right. So you mentioned it being left to the states. You're right. And every state that did or performed the worst in the country were Democrat-run states.
Then Donald Trump should have been a good enough leader to freaking make a mandate across the United States on how states were going to act, and then he could have corrected those Democratic-run states, couldn't he?
Well, how can you? Okay, but you're talking about something that's never happened before, right?
Nope. It wasn't just pandemics have happened in the United States.
The entire world that shut down.
Yeah, pandemics have happened. Not only have pandemics happened, but there was literally a team that was put in charge of when this happens again, because freaking virologists and epidemiologists across the world knew that it was going to. They knew it was going to. Sir, I'm trying to tell you. You keep stopping me to say it, to ask a question.
Go ahead. Answer.
Yeah. So again, there was a team in the United States made up of United States doctors. Okay. That was made under the Obama administration because those doctors said that we were going to have a pandemic, and Donald Trump fired them. Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, they were called the Pandemic Response Team. Donald Trump fired them because he said, yep, it was never going to happen. And then guess what? It happened. But Ebola was a pandemic. SARS was a pandemic. There's tons of pandemics.
Right. Okay. So here's the thing. You're talking about a team that even if they were intact, even if he hadn't fired them, what could they have possibly done? I mean, Trump tried to do everything. He tried to shut down entry from certain countries. What happened there? He was called a racist again.
There's a tons of things they could have done. Actually, there was an entire pandemic playbook. No, you asked what those doctors could have done, and there's a whole bunch of things. No, there's a whole bunch of things those doctors would have done. They literally had an entire playbook on how we handle this, what we do with society, what we do with the economy, what we do with the deaths, how we handle things like vaccines. All of these things are all
Right.
in a pandemic playbook of exactly how we should act and how we should posture to actually give the president, the best decision-making tools he can in order to make decisions on how to run the United States. But again, he got rid of that. So first of all, automatically he wasn't doing the best that he could, because if he was doing the best that he could, he would have had all the tools in place for him to be able to do it, but he didn't have those tools in place because he wasn't doing the best he could. And the only reason he got rid of it was because Obama was the one that made it, and he just didn't like anything Obama made. So literally his insecurity is what caused it.
So here's the thing. I would agree with that, but, it's a big but, the same doctors and scientists you're talking about, they wouldn't even confirm, they wouldn't even say that it was a lab leak when they knew that it was. Which
Sir,
is wild.
Please explain to me how knowing what country the virus came from helps people to stop from fucking dying.
That's where you learn to contain it.
No, sir,
That's
it was
where you contain
already
it.
not contained. It had already spread all the way across the world. By the time we knew that COVID existed, it had already spread to every country, and there was cases in every major country across the world. So how does me knowing it's from China, okay, help me to stop people from dying?
Listen, if you can't accept that simple fact, I mean...
What fact? You haven't made a fact. I'm asking you a question.
What do you mean, what fact? You mean the fact that these scientists they weren't even able to admit, right, where it
Sir,
came from?
what are you talking about?
It
Every
took them
fucking
years.
virologist and epidemiologist that freaking said anything during that pandemic said it came from China. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're joking? Yeah,
Are
but
you
from where?
joking?
Not a lab leak. Nobody said it was a lab leak. They were staying
Oh
far
my
away from
God.
that. They were saying it was...
All
Are
right,
you
sir.
lying?
Well,
Am I
okay.
lying?
Well, this conversation is literally, I could have a better one with a preschooler. All right. Well, I guess you're just going to leave. That was probably best for your own sake. Goodness gracious. What in the fuck is wrong with that dude? Anyways, that was wild. Will, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. It said, how do I get in a call an intelligent debate? You just have to call and be the person that answers. Unfortunately, for some reason, I think people like that guy are just faster. But thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that, Will. Thank you so much. And FOD, that's called a steel man from hell. Yes, it was FOD, but you know what? Calling those things out doesn't really help the debate as far as I'm concerned. So, but yes, it definitely was a steel man. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Fuck Donald Trump.
Whoop, whoop. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
Good. How old are you?
I am 28.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do not. However, I would like to have a little bit of a conversation about understanding the big, beautiful bill with you.
There's a lot to go through in the big, beautiful bill. And honestly, like, I'm not like a professional enough on it where I can sit here and just have a full conversation with it.
I have one specific thing that I think could be an interesting concern to just raise.
All right, bring it up real quick and then we'll move on.
Yeah, let's do a real quick one. I understand. I get you got it.
Yeah, you're good, man. What's your point with it? Go for it.
So, see, I work with in the healthcare sector. I work with providing nursing care facilities, senior nursing facilities with devices that they don't have to pay for.
I'm sorry. What was that? Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah, I work. Part of my job is to work in medical healthcare devices for senior nursing facilities, and providing them with technology that's going to help them through Medicaid.
Okay.
Now, what are your thoughts on how the big bitchy bill is going to impact the Medicaid situation?
Oh, it's going to absolutely destroy Medicaid. We're already showing data that says over 300 rural hospitals are going to close. 1 in 4 nursing homes is going to most likely close. 17 million people are going to lose Medicaid. We have over $1 trillion worth of Medicaid cuts. Paperwork hell. It's going to be absolutely brutal on Medicaid. It's absolutely going to destroy it. So, I mean, if you work within the hospital industry, I would say this is probably not the best time for you.
honestly, like for me, it is like my profit. To me, I get paid when a patient is being put into a better care system, no matter what it is. And we try to do it through Medicaid because the patient should not have the burden to be like, oh, I got to check my bank balance before I can be alive anymore, you know, or your family should not have to support it that way. That's kind of our outlook on it for me and my company itself.
Yeah,
So,
and again,
know,
those are specifically the people that they're going to try to target, the people that are the most vulnerable
Yeah.
when it comes to these type of situations, right? Are going to be the people that, you know, that would have to check their bank balance, and a lot of those people are going to find out they don't have care that they desperately need, which is going to be, I imagine, like really rough.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. I'm an immigrant myself in this country. I've been a citizen for over 10 years, and now I find kind of like, you know what, I got to look at my passport sometimes and be like, dude, how long is it till I get shipped out too? So,
bro, I'm born and raised, and I don't even know where the last immigrant in my freaking bloodline is, but still, I'm not sure I'm not going to get deported. So,
yeah,
you know, like,
I get it, man.
Yeah, 100%. But
best
hey,
of
thanks
luck
for coming
to you.
up.
I do enjoy watching your videos and everything. I want to let you carry on with your
Appreciate that,
with
man.
your chat. Okay,
Absolutely, man.
Have
You have a
day,
good one.
man.
All right. Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank W's in the chat for that guess. Stacy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Probably the first thing you could have done was not lie and say it was going to be gone in 2 weeks. That also probably you should inject disinfectant. Probably wasn't the best thing ever either. Just throwing that out there. But hey, you know, great leadership. Stacy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. And Fireroll, thank you so much for the $1 super chat also. I really appreciate that too. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to reopen up these phone lines, keep this thing going. Thank you so much for the alien, whoever just sent that too. Shrugs, thank you so much for the alien. I really appreciate that. Hello, how are you?
Hey, man, what's up? I'm good.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 26.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
No, I don't. But I've got something to talk about that I think is a little spicier than the last one. I want to talk to you about this content that you're making. I was just scrolling through my YouTube shorts, and I saw your live thing, and I was taken aback immediately by how rude you're being to these Trump supporters without waiting for them to be rude to you first, I guess.
Man, if you think I'm rude to them, guess
what?
I bet you can't wait to see how rude I'm going to be to you, huh?
Yeah, man, I like it like that. But no,
Yeah.
I'm being serious.
I'm being serious
I
too. Get the fuck off my live if you want to come up here and tone police me. If you don't like it, keep fucking scrolling, okay? I am very, very nice to Trump supporters when they come up and they're nice to me. And when they're assholes to me, they get treated the same. I'm sorry that you're used to the tolerant left that sits over here and simps and lets everybody talk over them, but that's not me. I'm actually here to have actual fucking conversations with people. And if people want to try to straw man arguments or steel man arguments or try to talk all over me or try to freaking be assholes, then guess what? They're going to get that exact same thing back to them, except for I'm going to be better at it than they are, okay? If you want a nice, soft, liberal live, I'm sure there's plenty of them out there for you to sit there and you can, you know, hold yourself and curl up in your blanket and cry along with them. I really couldn't give a shit. But how dare you fucking come up on my live while I'm in the middle of trying to make content to try to give me your opinion on this bullshit like I give a shit.
Well, I wanted to talk.
No one cares. Anyways, again, if you support Trump, please call the number above my head. If you don't, you don't need to be here. Hello, how are you?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
39.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I mean, we only been given a couple options. You had Kamala and you had Trump. Who would you pick? Or you had Hillary Clinton or you had Trump. You had,
why would we pick those women, huh? Those women.
No, not even to say women.
Those women with their periods.
Well, it's not even that.
And their
that.
estrogen.
Well, it's not even that. If it was a different type of woman, I'm just saying that if you look at their scandals as well, they had their scandals as well, and they had their type of things. Trump is a man, and whenever a man do something, his things will always look worse.
Yeah, what scandal did Kamala Harris have?
You said which ones did she have?
Yeah, you said Kamala Harris had these scandals. What scandals were these?
Well, I don't want to just jump into it to single her out, but I'm just saying she had to have some type of dirt on, she was messing with married men, sleeping around for money to work to the top or whatever, right? So kind of like prostitution, her body to get to where she
First
needed
of
to
all,
go.
sir,
So,
that thing that she slept her to the top in got her 5 million votes. Can you please tell me who I can sleep with to get 5 million votes?
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So when a woman is doing something, it's going to be looked at differently, and then when a man is doing something, it's going to
Doesn't need to be. You're just making
now,
it that way.
if a man slept on his way to the top, people would look at him. If that was Donald Trump and he slept his way to the
Sir,
top,
it
that
doesn't
would be something they would
have
hold against him.
to be that way. You're making it that way. You're the one that's bringing
Well,
that argument. You're the one saying that because she's a woman, you are making arguments that she slept her way to the top. And if she wasn't a woman, you wouldn't be making that argument. Yet you're holding that against her. You're the reason why those arguments exist. It's this type of misogyny, which is why this exists.
Okay, now I just want to get here. When we first and foremost, if it was a woman that was better than Trump, because first and foremost, it's America, right? And they're only letting you pick who you get. They tell you get to pick from Biden or Trump. Oh, Biden got to drop out, so we're just going to throw Kamala up here, even though she never took no steps to get up here. We're just going to throw this to her, because Biden has to sit in.
So please explain to me how being a literal freaking prosecutor, a district attorney, a California senator, and the vice president is no steps to getting there.
Well, I'm saying she didn't have no vote. When it came on and it was the president's running, the only president that we was hearing was running with Biden. We heard of Biden and Trump. Even when we seen the first face-off, we seen Biden and we seen Trump. So Kamala was bad on the Democrats' parts the way they went about it. They knew that Biden wasn't a good fit from the first place.
Sir, I don't care about Biden. I really couldn't give a shit, okay? Really, I couldn't. So you're saying because you don't like the rules of the Democratic Party that you're not going to vote for a better candidate because you don't like the rules of the Democratic Party. Please explain that to me.
Well, it's not just the rules of the Democrat. Okay, look, I was born in 85, so I just want to break something down, right? So me being born from 85, the office has been led more by Democrats than it has by Republicans since I've been on this planet. So when you look at the way America is and the way America is going, it probably would have been so forward to be on the Democrat side because all this type of stuff has happened under the watches of the Democrats. So now
I don't even think that's not even true.
Look, count the years.
Yeah, 20. The last 20.
Office more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Go ahead.
The last 24 years. The last 24 years were 12 and 12 before Trump. Okay, and then before that it was 8 years of Clinton, and before that it was 8 years of Bush Senior, and then it was Reagan before that. So literally, there's been more Republican than there has been Democrat.
Well, I said I was born in 85, so I just went back from what I can remember. So I just remember Bush
4
Senior,
years of Bush Senior,
Clinton,
right? But before that, it was still Reagan.
Bush.
Yeah, before 4 years of Bush Senior, but it was still Reagan before that. And you would have been born under Reagan.
Yeah, you could say that. I just said what I can remember from just seeing, you know what I mean, of if me hearing. But so you just got to know it's America, right? So I just wanted to say this: if it was a different Democrat, just say if you had a different Democrat coming in office, right? When you had Biden already there, he couldn't step up. And then you got Kamala, who we know is Biden's puppet. So we was like, okay, if you vote for Kamala, you're still voting for Biden.
Biden was better than Trump.
This, right? I mean, with certain policies,
even if that's your argument, even if somehow that's your argument to say that, oh, voting for Kamala Harris was an extension of Biden, which I don't believe that it would be at all. But even if that was the case, Biden was still better than Trump. So an extension of Biden still would have been better than Trump. But regardless of any of that.
I was watching your channel just now and you spoke up how Trump, whatever the essay, and Trump did bad things or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
when we go to Biden and his family, when we go over there, they are they're crooks and criminals too. And Kamala was a part of his his candidacy. Kamala is right there
Yeah.
with him.
What
So if
crime
she
did
was
Biden commit?
there, I mean, his son and his
No.
son
I don't give a shit about his son.
son.
I am sure Don Jr. has committed some atrocities that we'll find out about
So do
later.
you
And
think Biden?
and I
Do you
would
think Biden?
probably
Do you
put
think
money that
Biden
said
wasn't connected?
and like Eric is probably a serial killer. It's pretty bad when Ivanka is probably the most sane one in that family. Like, just being completely honest with you, okay? But I didn't vote for their fucking kids, okay? I didn't vote for their fucking kids. I voted for them. Donald Trump is a felon. Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist. Donald Trump's organization was sued for defrauding a children's kids charity. That was Donald Trump who did that, not his kids.
But okay, you're right. But I don't want to take this out of context. So even with Trump, and you're right, Trump is a felon, right? Trump is a felon. Trump is this. Trump is that. But I just want everybody to always remember what America is built off of. From the police in our states and everything, we employ criminals. The politicians are criminals. It's always a scandal popping up. So when you really look at it and you see like, oh, people are still going to vote for Trump, we're still voting for these politicians that we're letting in. We're still voting
so
for.
You had the chance to vote for one without that wasn't a criminal, but you chose to vote for the criminal because America was built on criminals? Is that your stance here?
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's that who you give. I think it was okay. Listen, if I had somebody else, if I had a different Republican to vote for, and it was up there, it wouldn't have been Trump. It would have been Republican all the way though. So no matter what, so if you tell me if Kamala would have been a Republican and she would have been pushing for Republicans, been pushing for this whole time since America was created, and it's been a Republican, it's been a republic. If she was pushing for that and she was on that side, or if it was Hillary, it doesn't matter if it's a woman. I'll be for him. I would have been if Trump was on the other side pushing for what Kamala was pushing for. I would have been against Trump.
What was Kamala pushing for?
Right side, everything that the Democrats was pushing for.
What was Kamala pushing for?
Racist. Listen, I just want to go here.
Sir,
I'm not racist, right?
Yeah. What was Kamala pushing
I'm gonna tell
for?
you. I gotta get here. I'm gonna get here.
Just get there,
if
please.
Kamala still was here, right? Okay, if Kamala still was here, this immigration thing. Well, and I don't want to just say immigration like that's just the biggest problem. But when you really look at what's going on with the tariffs and with everything, it's a big problem going on. The American dollar is being sent back over country to everywhere else. So that's one thing that has to get cleaned up with the immigration. The price of living and cost is so high because many different immigrants have had their.
Stop. Was that a simultaneous tariff and immigration stance all in one sentence?
Well, hold on. I wasn't. It's all tied into one thing, though. Is what I'm saying. Everything is tied into one place. It's to make America great again.
It's okay, little guy. Shh, be quiet. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. Anyways. I don't even know what you're saying. And it's a waste of time and space. So have a wonderful day, okay? All right. I truly don't think I know how to respond to what he just said. That was crazy. I said, what was Kamala Harris's policy? And he said, pretty much immigration tariffs. It was pretty much immigration tariffs, which I'm not sure how to respond to. So, you know what? That's cool. He has officially confused me to the point where I don't even know how to fucking respond to immigration tariffs. Okay. Keep it real. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. It said Biden used his vice president position to get the prosecutor fired, or Ukraine wouldn't get the money. There's a video of him saying that. That is nowhere near what happened at all. Keep it real. He was sent there by the Obama administration to get rid of a prosecutor, which was before the Burisma thing even happened at all. And he was sent there by Obama off of a freaking prosecutor who was being freaking removed by the UN. Like literally him going there with the prosecutor and him freaking and getting rid of a prosecutor and the whole thing with his son literally don't even match each other. They're not even the same story. You guys just putting them together because you think it sounds better. It's crazy, man. He was literally like wanted on on corruption charges, dude. Like freaking crazy. MK, and thank you so much for the €5 chat. I really appreciate that. It says, oh my God, they're incredibly uneducated and very stubborn. Please keep on exposing their ignorance. Yeah, this is the American education system for you. I will take it by the euros that you're not here. I believe that's a euro. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the €5. And you're right. I'm going to keep trying. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh, Johnny, I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Praharsh. I might have gotten that one right. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says, cheers, mate. Thanks for the Medicaid conversation. Oh, that was you earlier. Sorry that I'm butchering your name. It was a very good conversation. Thank you so much for coming up, man. I really appreciate that. Brandon said, Kamala beat Trump so bad on their one debate. Yes, she did. She beat him so bad. So bad. It was kind of embarrassing. So I maybe I'll go back and watch that. Maybe that'll make me feel better later. Oba, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said Trump and Epstein were secret lovers. I don't even think it was so much of a secret. Thank you so much for the super live star. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I don't think it was much of a secret. They were pretty obvious about it. Oh, there's Praharsh again. Thanks for talking to me. I was the Medicaid guy. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And Safari Jim, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said listening to you dump on these people is cathartic as fuck to me. Thank you. It is its own form of like ASMR. It really is. It's its own form of ASMR. I believe. I truly believe that. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much for the fireworks show, Laura. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That was really sweet of you. And Shay Lou, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says, go Polly. Love your response to that previous caller. Thank you so much, Shay. I really appreciate that. W's the chat for everybody that support the live through the super chats and through there. And Joe, thank you so much for the $25 on Cash App. It says it's been a while. I really appreciate that, Joe. Thank you, W's chat for everybody who supported, and especially Joe there at the end. That was really, really sweet. I really appreciate that. And for Sandra for the $5 on Cash App that you just sent. All the great work you do. I really, really appreciate everyone. Thank you guys so much for the support. You guys are being absolutely so sweet. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. It really does help me to keep doing this every day. You guys are so sweet. All right. Well, I'm going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing going. I really appreciate you. Again, especially if you're on TikTok and you'd like to help me support, I still am trying to catch Ari on subs. So if you'd like to help me there, that'd be really, really great. Because she is starting to talk a little shit. And I don't like it. Okay? Hello. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, because honestly, all the things that are going on with immigration, I do believe that all the illegal immigrants should be deported.
Okay. Well, if that's your case, Donald Trump's not doing a very good job.
How's that?
Because he's not even deporting at the same number that Biden did last year. And if he keeps on at the same pace he's doing, he won't even touch like 20% of the undocumented immigrants in this country. That's assuming that no more sneak in while he's, president.
Well, I'm pretty sure that he's doing a better job at not only just deporting, but also closing down the border, unlike the open borders that Biden had.
Well, first of all, there was in no way where they opened borders. Second of all, he's doing very good job of shutting down entry at port of entries, right? But again, for the most part, those are people that are coming in on temporary legal status, people that are seeking asylum and things like that. But we really don't know the number of people that are coming in, outside of those channels, people that are sneaking in, the so-called gotaways that, Donald Trump talks about and all that sort of stuff. He's not shutting those down, because if we could shut those down, then he would have shut them down his first term, and he let almost 1 million people, gotaways in under his first term. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many projected undocumented immigrants there are in this country?
Too many, honestly.
Awesome. Would you like to guess on how many?
I don't have a specific number.
Okay, it's about 11.6 million, according to Pew Research Center. And the numbers vary between 11.5 and 12 million. Okay. At the rate Donald Trump is going, I think he's just over 200,000 that he's deported since he's been here. And so he's like, we're now nowhere close to even putting a dent into that number of people that are undocumented. Currently, he is trying to get rid of people that are here that aren't undocumented immigrants, people that are here on protected legal status. Right. And I think that's going to people from Honduras and Nicaragua, I believe is correct. The countries that he's going after. So right now he's not even going after people like undocumented migrants. And he sure as hell not doing what he promised, which was to go after migrants that were criminals and stuff like that. He's literally going after people that are here legally.
Really?
Yeah, you can look it up. The Supreme Court just paved the way this week for him to deport people that were here under temporary legal status. They're not citizens. They're not on permanent residency, but they were here legally or are here legally. And they just paved the way for him to be able to deport them.
Honestly, if that is true, I'll search it up later. Then yeah, I do agree with you on that. He shouldn't be deporting people that are here legally. He's supposed to be deporting people that are here illegally, because coming in, breaking the law already, one of the first things they do breaking the law, they're automatic criminals, so they should be deported. But if he's really deporting people that are here illegally, then that is completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they're criminals the same way jaywalkers and people who get speeding tickets are criminals. But, I mean, technically, I guess you're right. In most places, it's a civil infraction. So it's not really like criminals.
Well, yeah, civil infraction like jaywalking, but...
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, we don't put that type of fervor into jaywalkers.
Coming in.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, and I'm not saying that...
That's a completely different thing.
Well, I mean, as far as crime is concerned, it's the same thing. They're both Class E misdemeanors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as far as from a crime standpoint, they're not different. Okay? But what I'm saying is, I have no problem with, making sure that we have more Border Patrol agents, that we have more money at the border, that we're stopping people from entering the country illegally. I have no issue with that. And again, neither do Democrats, right? This is why there was 3 different, pieces of legislation under the Biden administration that would have addressed that problem that Republicans blocked, including one that was written by a Republican that Donald Trump specifically stopped. And there was multiple pieces of legislation under the Obama administration that would have fixed this problem also, considering we haven't had, a change to our immigration policy since the 1980s, right? So we need a lot of legislation. I have no problem fixing that. I mean, again, deportation numbers, if you look at them, Obama was higher than Trump, Biden was higher than Trump, right? So when we're talking about just like deportations, we're talking about, securing the border.
Obama. I don't know about Biden.
Yeah, it was Biden. And again, most of those numbers, in all honesty, were, numbers of people that were stopped at the border, right? And that's how I said it wasn't an open border in any way, shape, or form, right? Because the majority of those people that were deported were people that were stopped by Border Patrol at the border and then deported, right? And so when Donald Trump says he's going to have this huge mass deportation effort, this is the reason why he's actually having such a hard time with keeping up with Biden's numbers, is because he's he doesn't have as many people coming to legal ports of entry. So he doesn't have as many people to deport, because under the Biden administration, there was a lot of people coming to seek asylum. Well, if you came to seek asylum and you were granted asylum, then you were let in. But if you weren't granted asylum, then you were deported. And then that goes to the deportation numbers, right? So that's why Biden had so many. But because Donald Trump's not having those people at the border, he's now trying to keep up with this, impossible 3,000 deportations a day number that he promised. And it's just not really logical or possible. And I think the more important part about it is just how disruptive it is. Right. And I think that's the big thing, right? Like the reason why those protests started in LA, and we don't need to get into like why, like the morality or the legality of the protests, right? I'm sure we can have differing opinions on that, right? But the true reason why the protest started was because it was disrupting communities. You know, it was people that, though they might be undocumented migrants, you know, or that are integral parts of the community that work in, you know, stores and help that economy to grow and move. These are their neighbors. These are people who have been here, you know, 20, 30 years. Donald Trump's already, you know, the Heritage Foundation has already talked about getting rid of DACA, you know, kids that were brought here, you know, under the age of 5 and have been here for 2 decades, you know? And so when we're deporting these people, we're really disrupting the communities. We're disrupting the economies. I mean, even Donald Trump kind of recognized that also. That's why he came back and was like, hey, you know, we're going to stop, you know, deporting people within the agriculture and hospitality industries, you know, because it was such a disruption to our economy and a disruption to those communities. He just doesn't care if he disrupts communities in Los Angeles because he hates California. But when he does it in other places, he actually realizes it, you know?
Yeah. I didn't know about that. Thank you for enlightening me.
Yeah, I mean, like, and here's just one more little notch on that little belt, right? Like, he's literally trying to denaturalize citizens. That's a just
I did hear about that.
Yeah, literal trying to deport American citizens. So if that doesn't scare you a little bit, then I don't know what does. You know?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Got anything else?
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have a good one. All right. He was a nice guy. I love when I actually get to inform some people. You know? I don't know if he's gonna listen or not, but hell, at least he listened. Maybe that's my whole goal. If he can at least take that and go look something up that I just said, then you know that'll at least be. Then I win, right? Hey, Brian, thank you so much. Not Brian, thank you so much to the alien. Not I win. We all win as a society. Gilly, thank you so much to the alien too. We all win as a society if he just goes and looks up some of the things that I said, and hopefully a lot of people out there are too that didn't know that type of stuff. Sharif, immigration. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat for immigration tariffs. My favorite types of tariffs. Are when we charge importers to immigrants. I'm not really sure how it works yet. I haven't thought of a good enough joke on how we charge tariffs on immigration. I'm still working on it in my head, but I'll get back to you on how we do that. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. The Elusive, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said that guy was right. Kamala had tariffs set in place for each Waterboy crossing, which was $100K and 2 brand new cars. Kamala 27. I thought you were, as I was reading that, I thought you were actually serious for a second. And I realized the sarcasm as I kept reading. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Freaking $100K into brand new. I hope that's sarcasm. I think it is. I'm going to take it as sarcasm because if it's truth, my brain can't handle that. And then I'll have to get off for the day. But yeah, thank you so much for this $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. And Oba, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said, how many deported undocumented immigrants are Euro? I don't know that answer. Sure, I can find out though. I'm sure the numbers are out there. All right, let's reopen up that phone line. Keep these things going. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. If you guys would like to support, again, I do have super chats open and stuff like that, and I do bring them up, talk about them, have some fun with them. I really appreciate that. And if they're funny and make me laugh, it's even more fun. Alusa was like, it's sarcasm. All right, cool. That makes me feel so much better. Woo. All right. Hello, how are you? Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 25.
I'm sorry, how old?
25.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I did. My support is waning the further we go into the administration, especially with the floating of amnesty for farm workers, Iran, the Epstein files thing. My support is definitely waning, but I would say directionally, I do still kind of reluctantly support Trump, but my support is definitely,
Well, I mean, honestly, the amnesty thing, that's just something that makes sense. Right? Like just logistically, if nothing else.
Yeah, I understand logistically it makes sense. It just is kind of against the spirit of 2016, against the spirit of 2020. And I think, though, it is a pragmatic solution. I think in the long term, the MAGA movement, I mean, the whole reason that the MAGA, people supported it to begin with was we wanted a leader who had a stomach, who was really willing to.
Sir, yeah, I'm gonna need you to talk I'm gonna need you to talk into your microphone because I'm missing like half your sentences every time.
Sorry, I have my earbuds in. I'll take them out. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I think the reason that people supported Trump in 2016, the reason people supported Trump in 2020 and 2024 is that we wanted to vote for a leader who had a stomach, who was willing to make decisions that, while in the short term, may cause some interim pain in the long term, these are decisions that need to be made for the long term, sovereignty and, general welfare of the country. So, and like I said, the amnesty thing, I understand that it is a pragmatic solution. I understand that it's something that may need to be done, but for me, it's not something that I personally, it doesn't really resonate with me. I would rather pay a higher price for strawberries at the grocery store for a couple of years than continue to live in a country that isn't sovereign. So,
well, sir, it's still sovereign. Immigrants being here doesn't make it not sovereign. If that was the case, there wouldn't be a sovereign nation on the planet. So you're very much just using the word sovereign there. Okay. Second of all, the pragmatic solution in which you spoke of is actually the long-term solution. That's what it is. The spirit that you're talking about, the spirit of his previous rhetoric was simply just racism. Well, xenophobia and racism, it kind of mixed together, right? And so that's the spirit of it. And what you're saying is that amnesty, which actually makes sense for us both economically, and sociologically, it makes sense for us on every single type of thing, to have the people that are already within our societies, that are already embedded within our societies, that are helping our economy, that are, putting in tax dollars, over $100 billion just last year, right? For all of those reasons, that the amnesty for them is the correct long-term thing. But you're right, it doesn't fit the spirit of immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country, and or the vermin poisoning the blood of our country, which is his rhetoric, which again is straight out of Hitler's book. So I guess it doesn't quite meet that rhetoric.
Yeah, I mean, I don't support calling illegal aliens vermin. I don't support that. But I mean, just generally speaking, I mean, like, the United States leads the world in illegal and legal immigration. And I think you and I just have two completely different ideas on what a country's relationship to immigration should be. And I don't think that we're going to be able to really reconcile that, because I think we're starting.
I'm sorry. What do you think that my stance is?
Well, what you just laid out. You laid out a number of pragmatic economic reasons for why immigration is a net benefit. And
that doesn't mean that I mean that, but just because the immigrants that are already here are a net benefit, do I believe that we should have open borders or we should encourage more immigration? Do you disagree with me on that?
Well, I'm just trying to parse what your position is. You're saying
no, but that's what I'm saying. You seem to be stating my position, and you're not stating it correctly. That's why I'm bringing that up.
Okay, I apologize. I guess I missed Can you just restate it again so I can?
Yeah,
sorry.
secure borders are important. Secure borders have always been important, right? And that's
Agreed.
why we like, especially on the left has been traditionally much stronger when it comes to border security, actually, than the right has. The right traditionally has been more immigration because, again, it was more corporations, and those corporations were using immigrants as a form of cheap labor, which was helping their bottom line.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and so the Republicans were much more in favor of that, right? And that it's not stopping there when it comes to Donald Trump, right? Again, where he's going directly into industries that are most likely to help corporations, hospitality, agriculture. I'm surprised he hasn't hit construction yet, but I expect that to come soon, right? But having actual firm immigration, firm borders is actually very important. The reason why firm borders are so important is so that we know who's coming in. You know what I'm saying? When we don't, we need to make sure that people like the cartels aren't coming in. They do things like human trafficking, right? They bring drugs into the country. That's absolutely horrible. We need to have strong immigration. We need to have, Customs and Border Protection that has the correct tools, has the right amount of people, has the right amount of money. All of those things are very, very important. And I think that not only is that my sentiment, but that's also the sentiment of the Biden administration. That's why there was 3 bills that were in place that were all stopped by Republicans that would have provided all of those stricter border policies. However, for the people that are already here who have been here for a long time, again, as you're saying, it's not logical in any way, shape, or form to try to remove 11.6 million people that have come over into this country over the last 50 years. Estimated. It doesn't make any sense. Again, it's incredibly expensive. Deportation is crazy expensive, right? To deploy all the ICE agents, to find them, to detain them, and then to remove them. It's very costly to the taxpayer. On top of that, we're removing, economic things that they're producing. They work jobs, especially in places like California, where you can be an undocumented immigrant and still get an I-10, and along with many other states, right? And so they're paying income taxes, they're paying sales taxes, they're contributing to our economy. They're paying into things like Social Security, they're paying into things like Medicare. You know what I'm saying? That they can't even get the benefit of because of their undocumented immigrants. So keeping them in our society and now giving them the ability to now be legal, right, both helps us by saving us money, on the cost it costs to remove them. 2, it keeps the money flowing from the money that they're already in there within our economy. We're already currently on like a net even when it comes to jobs, right? So there's about, as of the numbers a couple months ago, that we had about 7.5 million jobs that were open in the United States and about 7.5 million unemployed people, right? So by removing those immigrants, now you decrease the amount of people that are able to work in jobs, right? Which again slows our economy down. So it just makes more sense to provide some level of amnesty to help these people who are here and are already entrenched in here, to then show up, to be background checked, to make sure that they're here, like that they're not criminals, and all that sort of stuff. A lot of these people have established families that are, in the country. They have children here that are now U.S. citizens. Those people are very helpful to our societies in many types of ways. So it's just like you said, it's pragmatic to keep them here, but at the same time, we can do both. We can make sure we have firm border policies and make sure that as few people that are coming in around the correct ways are coming in, and also making sure that the people that are here help to continue to grow our society and our economy.
Yeah. So I basically agree with like literally everything that you just said, except for the mass deportation part. And I think the point where we diverge is I make a distinction where the pragmatic in an economic sense, it does make sense to allow for some amnesty, and it is an economic drain. It'd actually be probably more of an economic drain to start the process of deporting anywhere between 10 to 15 million people. That process would probably, almost for certain, would be more of economic detriment than it would be to continue to allow them here. But the point that I'm making is not a point about pragmatism. It's a point about, again, national sovereignty and the idea that people get to have a say in their government about who is not allowed to be in their country. The idea that a country should have sovereign borders. And the whole reason that people voted for Trump, a big reason in 2016, 2020, 2024, was this idea that America You don't even have to get into the minutia of the economics and the pragmatism, because again, this is not a pragmatic argument. The idea that the United States leads the world in illegal immigration and legal immigration, for me, is enough of a reason to stop and think, okay, what kind of incentives does this policy around national sovereignty and borders say to the rest of the world? It creates an open door for all kinds of deleterious effects on communities. And it also, again, a point where we agree, creates an incentive for corporations to essentially profit off of slave labor. I would prefer to live in a nation where we allow, we have periods of immigration, we have periods of closed borders, but this idea that somehow there needs to be no retribution for 20 years of what has essentially amounted to a fundamental change in the demographics and electorate of the United States, for me, that was a massive reason why I was a virulent Trump supporter in 2016 through 2020, and it's only been within the last 5 months where I've started to just kind of like compile a lot of these policies and been like, what did we really get out of these last years?
So I think I have two huge issues, and like this is, I've already made my point very clear on this, but you keep saying sovereign. What's the definition of sovereign?
Having a choice. You have the ability to have a say in your country. Countries that are sovereign have an ability to dictate their future. They have a say.
Right. So is it a move of sovereignty if we give amnesty to immigrants?
It is, and I don't agree.
So therefore, giving amnesty to immigrants is not the opposite of sovereignty. You're saying sovereignty as if that's as in giving amnesty to immigrants is somehow lack of sovereign, right? Sovereign means that we're able to make our decisions as a country, as our country without external factors being put in.
Real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when I voted in 2016, 2020, and 2024, what I thought that I was getting with my vote was going to be a leader who had enough of a stomach to do something that was not going to be popular with the country. What I'm saying is this amnesty policy is basically a slap in the face of those people, and it's undermining what I thought I was.
Well, let me also make, that was actually going into the other point that I was making. You kept referring to what I'm saying as pragmatic. What's the opposite of pragmatic?
I don't know. What are you getting at?
Well, I mean, you're saying that your stance is not, that my stance is the pragmatic one, right? Yours is not. What's the opposite of pragmatic? It's idealistic,
well,
right?
I wouldn't say that my stance isn't pragmatic.
It's not.
Well, no, I think that we're just making a different value judgment on. I think we just have two fundamentally.
No,
well, actually, I think we agree on quite a bit. But
yeah,
what I'm saying is that I think that we just make different value judgments about different things, and I think pragmatism is something that I take into consideration. But I think about pragmatism more in a general sense about the entirety of the country, not just these kind of like zoning in on economic effect. I try to look at the corpus of it.
But sir, again, the opposite of pragmatism,
the entirety of society. And
sir,
I think that
hold on.
We're making different value judgments.
The opposite. No, we're not making different value judgment. You said that mine is pragmatic and yours is not pragmatic, right? It's idealistic, and another, opposite word of pragmatic would be unrealistic. Okay, and that's literally what you're making. You're saying, oh, well, Trump said that he was going to do this thing that was hard to stomach, that he was going to do these mass deportations. Well, the problem with those mass deportations is they're idealistic and unrealistic. Okay? It's not logical, and not just on an economic standpoint. It's just not logical as far as a time and money thing is concerned, right? Like on any type of factor, they're trying to deport 11.6 million people estimated, right? Approximately, is unrealistic and idealistic. That's what it is. So while things that are like idealistic and stuff like that, they're great to appeal to emotion on all sorts of different factors. I'm not looking for any type of policy that works off of idealism. I want pragmatism to guide things. I want things to be logical, for them to be doable, for them to make sense, right? Not to be some fantasy of a world without immigrants, and that I just don't like. That's just not.
I don't. That's not a world without immigrants. And I just fundamentally reject the idea that mass deportation is a fantasy. We've done it many times throughout the history of our country. Obama, Biden, Bush, Trump 1, Trump 2 have all enacted policies that deported millions of people. And I think the idea that we can expand that Overton window to try and account for as many illegal immigrants as possible is not unrealistic. It's completely realistic. And I think back to my central point.
Hold on. Let's not. I don't want to leave that point though. When we're talking about their deportations, we're not talking about the deportations that you're talking about. When we're talking about the deportations under Obama, those deportations, which again, I don't even agree with a lot of the deportations that we had, but they weren't going into Los Angeles with ICE agents that are masked, not wearing badges, in plain clothes and breaking down doors. That wasn't Obama's deportations. Okay. But that's what's required. That's what's required for the idealistic mass deportations that you require. What you're looking at for a mass deportation on what you're considering would be closer to the Mexican Repatriation Act, which saw the deportations of millions of American citizens. Okay. And Donald Trump has used that comparison, right? When you talk about Donald Trump's idealistic and idealistic deportations, you talk about things like the 1798 Aliens Enemies Act, right? The thing that we were able to put Japanese people in concentration camps on, right? Because idealism in this situation just means xenophobia.
No, it's not.
It does.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with, if literally all 10 million of these people were from Eastern Europe and they had the same deleterious effect on the nation, I would be 100% in favor of it.
And you would be xenophobic against people from Eastern Europe.
But it doesn't have to do with the fact that
I didn't say that it had to come from a different country. Or I didn't say it. I didn't say it would. If I said it, I would have said it was racism if I meant you meant all brown people.
Okay. My position on immigration has nothing to do with national origin, skin color. It literally doesn't have anything to do with that. I don't care about that. My problem
It has
with
everything to do with nation of origin.
What's that?
It has everything to do with nation of origin.
Well, yeah, other than the fact that they're not from America. If people from Canada were flooding into the United States, I'd still have a problem with it. The fact that these people are from a different culture, have a different skin color, has literally nothing to do with my position on immigration. My problem with it is that it has deleterious effects on the society, and I think the fact that many of them are from South America has nothing to do with the effect that they have on the country.
And what effect on society is that?
What's that?
What effect on society is that?
Okay, well, I mean, we can run through it, but just the sheer fact that the United States leads the world in illegal immigration to me is problem number one.
You've repeated that like 5 times, but you're not saying what the problem is with it. You just keep saying that you don't like it.
Yep. Well, I was going through it, but I got interrupted.
Well, you said, I'm sorry, after the 4th time you've said it, it gets kind of old.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But continue.
People say try and get themselves like in. Okay. So I think primarily the fact that we have had lax immigration policy has created an environment where we have basically incentivized people to come into our country illegally, which has a deleterious effect on America's image to people who are trying to find better lives. It creates an incentive for more illegal immigration. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, all major problems.
Hold on.
The reallocation of hang on, holy fuck! The reallocation.
No, but you're just making ridiculous statements, and don't crash out on me, sweetheart. It'll be okay, all right. My question for you is, okay, you're saying we have laxed immigration policy. What's laxed?
Leading the world in illegal immigration. I think that would.
That's not a policy, sir. What immigration policy is laxed?
Okay, well, regardless of the policy, we lead the world in illegal immigration. So whatever the policy.
Hey, Gas, can you answer me a question?
Yeah.
Do we lead the world in illegal immigration?
I actually think it's probably Russia that leads the world in illegal immigration. But when you
I'm not sure if we lead the world in illegal immigration or not. I think you should probably tell me about 7 or 8 more times before I can hear it the first time.
What's that?
I think you should probably tell me 7 or 8 more times.
What? Okay, can I just ask you a question about the way that you conduct
No,
yourself?
I'm not interested, sir. What I would like you to do is tell me what policies that we have in the United States that are laxed, okay? And I would, if you could do that, because you've stated that they are laxed, I would like you to be able to do that without saying we lead the world in illegal immigration, please.
Okay. I think the point that I'm making is regardless of the policy, in effect, the policies don't work because of the current situation that we're in.
What situation is that?
The lowest estimate being 10 million illegal people in our country. That's a problem.
Why?
You want me to go through the reasons again?
You haven't gone through the reasons, sir. You just keep repeating over and over that we lead the world in immigration. I've asked you for the policy in the United States that is bad. You have yet to tell me a policy that is actually bad or a policy that was lax. You just keep telling me that we have these people in the immigration. So, sir, all I'm trying to get to is the bottom of your actual position, because besides the position of we have lax policies that you don't know anything about, and we have the most immigrants in our country, but you can't tell me why that's bad outside of some idealistic and non-pragmatic freaking thought process about immigrations and how they affect sovereignty, which again you don't know the definition of sovereignty and how it relates to this statement either. So I'm trying to get you to actually get me to a single point right here that actually makes some type of logical sense on why you're trying to make this argument, and I just keep letting you talk and you just keep repeating the same things over and over and over and over, and I would just like to get to some point about this that actually matters, because at this point it just sounds like you don't really have much to say.
Okay, so I would say the policies of Reagan, Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, pause for a bit of Trump 1, Biden, have led us to a position where we have an incredibly large number of illegal immigrants. Problem number one with our illegal immigration problem is the reappointment of seats within our electoral college and the reappointment of electoral votes on our map, even though it's a trope that gets bandied around. There's not a significant number of illegal immigrants who vote in our elections, but the fact that they are here, their population contributes to a reapportionment of electoral votes. Problem number two, human trafficking and drug trafficking, massive problem. Problem number three, corporate reliance upon what is essentially slave labor. I could go on, but those three problems to me are the whole reason why I voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, awesome. So I already agreed that we should have stronger immigration policies at the border. So that solves your entire human trafficking and drug problem, right? Because I also agree that we need to shut down the border. We're not talking about them, okay? When you're talking about the repositioning of electoral votes, right? Again, that doesn't change because I'm only talking about leaving people that are already here and already counting towards that, okay? So we're not changing that reproportioning whatsoever. So again, third thing, by the way, that policy that you're talking about through all of those presidents that you spoke about, it's all the same policy. Okay? It's all the exact same policy. So when you're not even talking about different policies. Okay? So none of those things that you're talking about, oh, sorry, your fourth one, I forgot about that. When you're talking about the corporations using slave labor, yes, if we gave those immigrants amnesty, then it wouldn't be slave labor because then they would be legally working here, and therefore they would fall under U.S. labor laws. So therefore that would fix the issue. So right now, your answer to slave labor is deport 11.6 million people, which is almost impossible. And my answer is be able to allow them to work for a livable wage. And for some reason, you think your argument is correct.
Well, no, I think the argument's correct. I think we just fundamentally disagree about immigration.
You're right. I think in logic and, realism, and you think in ideologue and something that resembles some type of great replacement theory thing that I'm not really sure about. But yeah, I don't. Yeah.
That's put words in my mouth. So
I didn't say that you said anything.
You literally just said that I believe in the great replacement theory.
No, I said you agreed something that resembles great replacement theory.
Nope. Literally, I didn't say anything about race or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, You don't need to apologize or anything, but it's fine.
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Why are you so sassy?
Are you trying to date me?
No, I just like
ASL. Hey.
Like
I'm
like a guy
I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure I'm too cute for you.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I don't like. That's like, I don't know.
Like I can't prove it, but like I'd put money on it.
Yeah, I guess like I'm just asking why are you so sassy and like sassy and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like why can't you just have like a calm conversation?
Sir, I've been calm and speaking at the same tone the entire time. At some point, you just screamed into your microphone.
Yeah, because you keep
Yeah,
interrupting.
I've been talking at this exact same tone the entire way. I have not raised my voice at you at all. I haven't even sped up my speaking. I have tried to be as calm with you as possible because up until you started crashing out, you were calm. You were somebody that was actually calm to speak to, and so when someone's calm to speak to, I actually speak to them like that. Okay, but you just instead of having a good faith argument, you just kept repeating the same things over and 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 over. And see, since I'm trying to actually run a live here, where we actually have conversations for entertainment because there's a bunch of people out there that are being entertained by this, you repeating the same stat over and over and over and over is really, 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 really bad for that entertainment factor. So when you keep doing it, I have to stop you at some point so that we can continue on with some type of logical conversation. And I'm very sorry that that upset you. That's really not my issue, okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
My
gas is like so crazy.
Yeah,
Like
my job here is to create an entertaining conversation for people to be able to watch. And currently, there's about 1,000 people in YouTube, about 800 people in TikTok, so about 1,800 people right now to watch. Okay, my job is not to make your feelings feel good. All right.
No, I understand that. I'm just asking.
So you can just go ahead and get your feelings in order. All right. And I will talk to you another time. You try to calm down before bedtime. Okay.
Dude, this is exactly.
All right. Anyways. Hope you get nice and tucked in. Tim, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, keep it up. MAGA loves you not. Yeah, Tim. MAGA's not a big fan of me. That last guest was though. I think he was about to ask me out. I think we were almost going steady. Not sure, but I think we were almost going steady. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Katie, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, what's your background? Are you a poli-sci guy or debate club? Poli-sci guy. Not directly poli-sci, actually. I studied international relations, so I was more on the NATO and all that fun stuff side of things. But hey, we kind of made our way all the way back around, so that's fine. Y'all, if you guys are on the YouTube side, guys do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do this every day but Thursday, so I'd love to see you guys here every single day, and I really appreciate the support. We're gonna keep going on the super chat. Katie, thank you so much for the super chat. Ari was debate club. That makes sense. That vibes. Let's Fail said someone who voted for Trump twice but swapped WSY. I don't know what WSI means. Sorry, I don't know what that means. But thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. Dustin, and a member, check that out. Does it show that on there? Oh, it does show that on there. That's awesome. The Dems wanted to keep slaves too. Republicans ended it. Yes. Back when the Republicans would have been considered the liberal party and the Democrats would have been considered the conservative party. That is very correct. But we did have a party switch, which I still don't know how I have to still talk about this. I feel like it is the year of our Lord 2025. We should, everyone should know the party switched at this point. I don't know how we're still even talking about this, to be completely honest with you. But hey, Here we go. And Sharif, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's amazing how you say they say you open their eyes. Unfortunately, they're only told to listen to Trump and nobody else. Yeah, I guess they also listen to, what's her name? Caroline Levitt. They also listen to her. So I guess that's two people. All right, we're going to move on to the next guest. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the super chats and the money guns. I saw that. If you guys would like to support, like I said, I do have the super chats open. I'll put them on the screen. We talk about them, have some fun with them and all that sort of stuff. So I really appreciate you guys. Also, if you guys are on the TikTok side, I do have my money gun gift goal going on. And again, I'm still waiting on these subs to try to catch Ari. I guess you guys just don't love me as much or something. I'm not really sure. We'll see. Hello, how are you today?
Oh, hi.
Hi, how old are you?
25.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
No, I'm in the middle.
Okay, man. Sorry, I'm only looking for Trump supporters right now, but I do really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, welcome to the live. How are you today?
You're so sassy. Oh.
Someone else trying to hit on me, I guess. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
So not really, but I guess I just wanted to see your stance on because I mean, I do kind of support a little bit, but only because of the party, because I'm pro-life, so that's kind of a big thing for me. And I just kind of want to see your stance on that. What do you think about pro-life?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I talk about abortion like twice a night.
Oh, okay.
Man, it just gets kind of old to just like if you wanted to debate this, like I have no problem debating it with you, and that's fine. But like, just for me to give you like here's my stance. I'll give you my stance. How about this? Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I mind my own fucking business, and I allow women to make medical decisions on their own without my help.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I guess I just believe that all humans deserve human rights. And, as a nature of human beings, every member of the human being family, I think, deserves human rights. So
yeah, human rights like the ability to make your own medical decisions and have your own bodily autonomy, things like that.
Yeah, kind of like just keeping
kind of like the thing you're taking away from the
as well.
Yeah, the thing that you're taking away from the women that are actually pregnant by supporting anti-abortion legislation.
Well, I mean, I guess you have a point there, but then I'd argue back that you're taking away a child's life. So
no, you're not, because the definition of a child requires it to be born.
No. So if we're talking about a baby and potentiality, so you're talking about.
I don't care about potentiality.
Why don't you care about potentiality?
Because potentiality, by telling me it's something has a potential, you're telling me it's not that thing.
Well, yeah, but but we're talking about.
Therefore, by you, no, but you're telling me, but straight up by you're saying potentiality, you're saying that something has the potential to become a human being. So therefore, if it has the potential to become a human being, it is therefore not a human being. Therefore, it is not a human being. So therefore, it does not have the rights of a human being because it is not a human being. But the person that is carrying that fetus does have all the rights of the human being, and you're taking away their rights for something that is not a human being.
Well, so I guess I should have probably elaborated on that. When I say potentiality, I was kind of referring consciousness, because that's how a lot of people like to argue is consciousness. That's what I was referring to. I do believe that I guess a human becomes a human when in the moment of fertility.
No,
So
consciousness would actually be a decent argument. If you want to go to fertility, then that's just dumb.
Well, what do you think that's? Well, this is why I'm kind of calling, because I want to explore. I'm not just I'm trying to explore, take different POVs. So why do you think it doesn't kind of started? I mean, well, I won't take your time if you don't want to. That's fine.
No, it's just I have this conversation like so often, dude, and it's just so fucking crazy because it's like 2/3 of Americans freaking literally did not support the overturning of Roe versus Wade, right? 50% of people in America can't even have abortions, right? And literally of like, and then you have like, it's just the craziest fucking argument, dude. Like, you're talking about, you're making, like, most of the time is this ridiculous moral argument or some type of religious argument. You know what I'm saying? That takes some ridiculous stance as if your religion and your morals like translate over into everybody else in the United States, right? As if you think that you are so fucking like above everyone else that your specific morals and your feelings should be translated onto every human being on the face of the fucking planet. It's just a crazy thought. On top of that, saying that women are just electively having abortions as if there's not a billion different decisions that go into it, as if women can't make decisions on their own, as if doctors aren't making the decisions, as if there's no Hippocratic oath. It's like the entire thing is just fucking ridiculous, dude. And it's just an entire appeal to emotion, right? For no reason. For literally no reason. Like, all you have to do is mind your own fucking business. And then there's no fucking conversation to be had about this. Just mind your own fucking business. Like, that's it.
I get what you're saying.
I am going to assume you're a male, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm going to assume you do not have the ability to get pregnant.
No.
Okay, then mind your own fucking business. Like, dude, that's it. You don't know. How old did you say you were 20? You 22, you said?
Yeah, I'm 22.
I promise you don't know fuck all about a woman's body. Okay?
I wouldn't say I don't.
Awesome. What's an ectopic pregnancy?
Well, that's not what we're talking about, though.
This is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the things that a woman's body goes through during pregnancy. What's an ectopic pregnancy?
Well, I'm not worried about pregnancy. So I'm worried about the termination of the baby inside.
Sir, what is an ectopic pregnancy?
You're spurging. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm asking you a simple question to find out if you know even a damnedest thing about what you're talking about.
So the thing is, you just kind of spurged on me. You just went on a whole 2 minutes. I couldn't say a word.
I will go 20 minutes and hang up the phone on you, and I won't lose a single viewer because you are not worth the time. I am asking you a singular. I am asking you a very simple question. What is an ectopic pregnancy?
Okay, can I get a word in about what you just?
If you are answering that question, then you can. If not, then no.
Okay, so if this is what you do, then you just. I literally told you I'm trying to see POVs.
I'm not trying to convince you of anything, sir. I don't give a shit about convincing you of a fucking thing. Okay, I do not care.
Then that's fine.
Okay,
then move on.
I don't care. Okay, I am trying to show you that you do not know anything about pregnant women or pregnancies or women's bodies when they get pregnant. You don't know anything about it. Okay? But yet for some reason you believe that you should be able to make decisions on it. And that's crazy, man.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to like mind manipulate everybody. Like a voting is like, it's my personal decision on what I personally believe, right? I'm not going on a podcast saying, hey, everyone who doesn't vote Republican because, you like killing babies. That's not what I'm saying. That's just my personal belief right now. It could change. It might not. And the fact that you don't want, like, you don't even care. Like, you keep in mind, I'm a voter. So if you're really trying to, like, I guess if you care about the overall state of this country, you would say, oh, this is why I think this and this is why I believe this. But you're just saying, no. You're a religious bastard who thinks he's better than everybody else, which again is not true.
No, I'm not better than everybody, sir. I'm not better than everybody, and
I'm better than everybody.
Is this your first time on this live?
Yeah, I just came across.
Okay, I literally have this argument. Okay, literally, probably a total of probably close to 10 hours a week. Okay. Literally close to 10 hours a week, I spend just talking about abortion. Okay? Just showing people like you exactly why you should not do this. Okay? Literally like 10 hours a week. So don't sit up here talking about like, oh, fucking, you fucking, like, you're not trying to help the situation. I sit here and I fight up for the rights of fucking women probably 10 fucking full hours a week, if not fucking more. Okay? But it's just dude. Okay. You don't seem to understand. From my point, see, to me, you're just talking to me, right? I talk to you 2 to 3 times a night.
not me specifically, but
yes,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
exactly the same arguments, exactly the same responses, exactly everything. I talk to you 3 times a night. Okay? Like truly. Like, and like I said, this is not me being a dick. I'm just being honest. Okay? And I just wish people like truly, like I just wish people would just like, dude, just like there's so many arguments I can make, and we can sit here and we can give arguments all day long about fucking why freaking, you know, women should have the same right to their bodies as men do, why they deserve bodily autonomy, why they have all of those things, right?
Too, but I also just think that, you know, babies also deserve that too.
Exactly. And you don't believe it's a baby either, and I can convince you of that, and I can go on over it. No, you don't.
I do believe it's a baby.
What's the definition of a baby?
Oh my gosh, there's no way.
What's the definition of a baby?
Really, bro? You're gonna ask? You think I'm that? You think I don't know? You want me to give you the dictionary definition?
Yes.
Or what do you think I think is a baby?
I don't care what you think. I care what the definition of baby is.
If you want the dictionary definition.
I know what the dictionary definition is because words have meanings.
I know, I understand words have meanings, but
yes,
I'm saying
so you don't get to make up what a baby is.
Definition.
You don't get to make up what a baby is. That word has a meaning, and what is the meaning of that word?
Okay, explain to me. What is it? What is a baby?
It's someone who is recently born. So in order to be a baby, you have to be born. Period. Point blank. So therefore, what you're talking about with abortion has nothing to do with babies. The word baby is an appeal to emotion that you guys use to try to spark some type of emotion out of people by saying, "Oh, they're out there killing babies," when it's not the fucking truth. Okay.
Okay. So you don't think it's a part of the human species at all? You
just because something is part of the human species does not make it human.
Well, if you were part of the human family, you are part of the human family. You have human rights.
According to who?
Okay, that's crazy. You don't know anything about the United Nations?
Yeah. Do you know anything about the Constitution?
Okay, so do you know about the preamble?
Do you know anything about the Constitution?
The Universal Human Rights by the United Nations. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know what it states?
What does it state, sir?
It states, since you know all the definitions?
Why don't you just get to it? Because this is going to be another boring conversation.
Oh, so when I ask you a definition, why don't you just get to it? But when you ask me a definition, and I don't know it off the top of my head.
Do you know what the 14th Amendment says?
Can you answer my question?
Do you know what the 14th Amendment says?
Can you answer my question?
Sir, I'll go ahead and answer for
Nations.
it. It gives literal... Yeah, I'm sorry. Are we in the United States or the United Nations?
Okay, do you think the United Nations doesn't apply? Like
what holds stronger in the United States? Some UN resolution or the United States Constitution?
I mean, the United States Constitution, but
okay,
again,
the U.S. Constitution gives human rights to all persons born. All persons born. 14th Amendment. All persons born. Born with a B. All persons born.
You still.
I don't give a fuck what the UN says. I really couldn't give a shit. Okay.
I mean, it shows. It shows. You're overlooking that, and I mean, fair enough.
No, I just don't care.
I see that. You don't care about a lot of things.
Starting with you.
And right back at you, buddy.
Yeah.
I respect you, but I don't. I'll sleep at night.
Okay, do whatever you gotta do, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is not very productive, so I guess I'll let you go.
Okay, then go, dude. Fucking, I ain't stopping you.
Well, I kind of don't wanna, but you don't want me to stick around, so I guess I'll just go.
Bro, why are you sounding like somebody smacked your puppy, dude?
I mean,
like, what are you fucking talking about,
you're
bro?
You're a cool guy, man. You're a cool guy. I want to have a debate. I just want to talk. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about this.
No, you want to argue about
fine.
some...
I respect you.
This is what... Sir, again, if you just wanted to talk about something, we could talk about something, man. There's a ton of things we could talk about, okay? Like, literally. Like, right now, okay, we have lost the respect of the world, all right? We have our allies cohorting with our enemies. Okay, due to trade deals that are being made by Donald Trump. We now have currently right now, okay, have no idea where 400 fucking kilograms of fucking 60% enriched uranium are belonging to a country that fucking hates us. Right now. Okay? Right now, about 17 million people are about to lose fucking healthcare in this country. Okay? With million more that are about to lose food assistance in this country. All right? Like right now. All right? We have masked men in plain clothes without badges, not identifying themselves, breaking down brown people's doors just in case they happen to be illegal immigrants. We have U.S. citizens that are being deported. We have a person running for mayor who is a naturalized citizen of the United States, who the president of the United States is trying to take away his citizenship. Okay? Just so he can't run. We had over 100 people die in a flood. Okay? This week, while Donald Trump literally fucking gets rid of the National Weather Alert Service, okay, and tries to defund FEMA to make sure that fucking those same people don't get any fucking help with all of the fucking with their houses that are fucking gone. Okay? Alert systems down, and fucking literally people are not going to be able to replace their houses. Okay? And I live in Florida, in a place where fucking we're about to hit hurricane season. Okay? And my daughter has less rights in this country to her own body than her grandparents did. Okay? Those are the things that I'm dealing with in this country this fucking week. Sorry, we'll say this last month. This last month. Okay? Yeah. Just in the last month, this is the stuff that we're having to deal with and we're having to talk about. Okay? Like right now. All right? Horrific things that are happening in this country. And you want to argue with me, and you want to argue with me about whether abortion should be illegal. Okay?
Well, no, I didn't want to argue with you. That's why I'm keeping a respectful tone. I didn't want to argue with you. I just kind of, that's why I asked you when I, first called. I said, how do you feel about it? I just wanted to see your perspective.
I feel like we have a whole lot of stuff that we need to worry about. And first, we should start with women can make their own fucking decisions about their body. They are very smart, intelligent people. I would have to go ahead and argue and say that I don't know how your experience with women is. I'm a lot older than you, okay? But
yeah,
most women I fucking know in my life are a hell of a lot smarter than most men I know in my life.
Okay, that's fair. Women are very smart.
Right?
I don't think it should have a ban all across the board. I think it should, I'm with it should go to the states. I think it should go to the states.
No, they shouldn't go to the states because that's just saying that, again, more men are going to be making decisions on women's bodies. Okay? That's just different sets of men. That's all it is. Okay? That's all that changes. Okay? So how about we just let women who, again, my opinion, a lot smarter than men are, who know their own bodies, can make their own medical decisions without interference from the government or without you and I involved, so that I can sit around and I can actually think about all the other stuff that I don't even get to talk about in this live, because 2-3 times a night, I have to talk about abortion. Okay? And again, I love sticking up for women's rights. I absolutely love it. I love destroying people when it comes to this. It's very satisfying to me. Okay? But at the same time, like dude, like I'm serious. Like I'm like this close to just being on this fucking live and just being like, I'm just gonna stop talking about, like, you bring up abortion, I'm just gonna freaking move on with the conversation, because like it is ridiculous how many times I say the same things over and over and over and over and over and over, and it's just like people don't like just have no idea. So maybe you just caught me on the wrong day. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, and I'm gonna take it as that. Maybe I'm being a little rude to it.
Like.
But I started my live yesterday talking about abortion. I ended my live yesterday talking about abortion. The day before, I ended my live talking about abortion. Today, I started my live again talking about abortion. Right, and it's like I am just getting real fucking sick of it. So maybe you just caught me on a bad day. That's what it is. You know what? Thursdays are my day off. Okay. Maybe I just need to reset. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Maybe that's what it is. That's fair. Are you watching me on YouTube or TikTok?
Yeah, I just came across you on YouTube. I was just
perfect. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And then what I want you to do after you hit that subscribe button, okay? I want you to go find a profile on YouTube. Okay? I want you to find a profile. Okay, it's Mermaid RE0. Is her username? Okay.
Okay.
Did you write that down? I don't want you to forget it.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Okay, Mermaid RE0.
I got it. I got my notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
She also debates on YouTube and TikTok. Okay. And she is one of the smartest people on abortion that I know. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So if you really want to know information, okay, tell her, and she's listening right now. Okay. And if you think I get feisty, she gets even feistier than I do. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So tell her, be like, hey, remember that last guest on Polly's live? Be nice to me. Like let's not go off the rails and she'll remember she's smart. Okay. Like I said, women are much smarter than us. Okay. So call her on Friday when she's on live. She goes on before me. So she gets on around 5:30 Central. All right. Call her. If you have real questions, don't want to argue, you have real questions, you want to talk about abortion, go talk to her because she knows she's forgotten more about this topic than I will ever know. All right?
All right. Yeah, that works.
Is that fair enough?
Man, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
All right.
Like I said, it was not my intention to come in here and talk about it for the billionth time with you. I just came.
You're
across
good.
You.
You're good.
I didn't even
Again,
think that was something
again, I'm blaming me on this one. Okay, I'm blaming me, not you. I'm blaming me. Okay, just for being frustrated with having to continually talk about this topic. So that's on me. I apologize. Okay. So I hope you have a wonderful day.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah, you too. I hope you have a good night.
All right, you too, man. All right. I see a bunch of people in there asking what her channel is on YouTube. It's Ari Mermaid 0. Actually, Ari, I know you probably have both your phones out, and I will get rid of this backup account in here. I will. Yep. Oh, you did it too quick. I was trying to get rid of my backup first. Go on YouTube. That's her on TikTok. Go on YouTube, leave a comment. It's Ari Mermaid 0. So I'll have her leave a comment right now so you guys can find her. Okay. Oh, wrong one. This one right here. Find this comment, click on that profile, follow her. Okay. Again, she debates right before me. So 5:30 to 7:30 Central. Okay. She debates, and she's very, very good on all topics, but this is her bread and butter. Okay. So make sure you follow her, and she's really good. Make sure you follow her. Come find her. I'm just gonna start shipping them over to Ari. Just yeah. For you guys who are here who watch me all the time, you guys know that I argue this all the time. You guys know I argue this all the time. There's so many there are so many things to talk about right now, and I just feel like I talk about this more than any other topic. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a little frustrated right now. So it's all good. Ari Mermaid 0. Okay, that's her name. Just find her on this one. She looks like the picture above my head. Okay. And she looks exactly like the picture above my head. Okay. All right, cool. I will see you guys on Friday. Tomorrow's my day off. Tomorrow's date night. All right. Matt, isn't it, dude? Isn't it? Like, I'm like, dude, for Matt, I do love, like, honestly, I do love destroying them. And I really do think it's important that men stand up on that topic. I really do think, I am not of the fan club of saying, hey, we need to have a woman here to do that. No, men need to be able to stand on fucking game and be able to support women and be able to talk about that topic. Okay. I 100% believe that all day long. Okay. But just damn, bro, just every first and last one of every night. Like I wasn't even gonna take another guest, and for him to just come up and just be the abortion topic, just like last night, I was like, oh my god, Kayla, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. So in case this guy needs some Panera money for a date because you're such a cool guy. Thank you so much, Kayla. I really appreciate that. All right. And Stacy, thank you so much for the $1.99. Thank you for standing up for us. I really appreciate that on the super chat. I'm going to get off the night. Obviously, I need a fucking chill pill or something. So I will see you guys on Friday night. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, all right? Bye.